It's 7 in the evening and I hand over the mixed pickle to the last customer. Thanks for coming. Visit again, I say. Thank you, Julie. I'll definitely come again next time, says the customer with a smile. I hurriedly took all the racks of pickles inside, put the earnings in my bag, locked the shop, and got back home. I handed over the money to my grandma and went to my room upstairs to freshen up. I hurriedly finished my homework and was about to go downstairs for dinner when I noticed my neighbor's house, which is Aunt Tina's house, bright and full of people. I tried peeking through but couldn't see anything. I gave up and went to it instead. Grandma, is there some function going on in Aunt Tina's place? No, Tina's elder brother has moved from the city with his family. That's why the house is crowded today, said Grandma. Whoa, that sounds fun, I replied. What fun! I wonder how so many people adjust to such a tiny house, she murmured. That many people living together is definitely gonna invite dramas and fights. Just wait and watch, said Grandma, shaking her head left and right and raising her eyebrows in disappointment. Oh, then looks like we will have fun, I replied jokingly. Yeah, that's for sure, said Grandma. Julie, since it's Sunday tomorrow, do you mind helping your grandma clean the shop? Yeah, sure, Grandma. In fact, I was planning to do that myself, I replied. That's very sweet of you, darling. I nodded. Next day, I went to the shop and helped Grandma take out the unnecessary packages, clean the shelves, and mop the whole floor. The clean shop looked fresh and welcoming. After the hard work, Grandma and I sat for tea. Grandma, can I have a few bucks? I want to buy a book, I said. But you already have the books for your school, don't you? Grandma, I'm not talking about school books. I want to buy a storybook from my favorite writer, I said. Well, take this money then. This is all I have for expenses this month. Buy me my medicine and get whatever you want with the change, she said. Oh, that's so nice of you, Grandma. Thank you so much. I rushed to the medical store and got her medicine. But to my surprise, medicine cost 90 bucks and only 10 was left. And the book would cost around 70 bucks. There was no way I could buy the book. Disappointed, I returned home only with the medicine. Upon reaching home, I saw my neighbor's child playing with other children. They must be her nephews, I thought. Then my eyes went to the front door of the house where a girl of my age was laughing and chatting with elders who seemed like her parents. The atmosphere looked cheerful. The house was full of people and everyone looked happy. The sight for some reason made me uncomfortable. I felt uneasy and sad. Trying to ignore, I went inside the house. Grandma, since we have relatives in the city, could we visit them sometimes? Or maybe call them here? I would love to meet my cousins, I said. Well, darling, Grandma replied, it's good to have less people around, you know. We definitely have relatives, but they're not good human beings. Your Uncle James and his wife are selfish people. So forget about them, she explained. But as much as I remember, when Uncle James visited us, he was incredibly kind to me and even convinced Grandma to let him take me to the city. His words echoed in my mind ever since. Let the child have the life she deserves. The city will open doors. She can be anything she likes. Here, she'll end up becoming just like you and ruin her life. And my brother wouldn't let that happen if he was alive. You know that, said Uncle James. But for some reason, they had a huge argument, and Uncle James left. Since then, I've never seen him again. I always wondered why Grandma had denied. I do feel like my life would be different if I lived in the city. I would learn many things. I would have a lot of friends, and since I want to be an author, it would be much easier to pursue my dream in the city. However, whenever I told Grandma about my wish to go to the city in the future, she would get very emotional. She would always cry hearing that and say, Julie, do you dislike your grandma so much that you would want to run away from me? It was not like that, but it made me feel guilty and upset at the same time. I stopped bringing up the topic to her. Also, more than anything, I love my grandma, and I would never leave her alone. The next day at school, our class teacher introduced us to a new student in the class. It was none other than the girl that I saw in Aunt Tina's house. Hello everyone, my name is Ruru. I hope you all will accept me as a friend, she said with confidence. Everyone cheered for her. Wow, she looks beautiful, girls started whispering. Just look at her, she looks so elegant, some said. I could see boys getting excited too. The whispers and chatter filled the whole classroom. To my surprise, until the class was over, she managed to make friends too. Seems like she was a social butterfly, and I disliked her already. On my way home, she waved at me, but I knew I couldn't tolerate her. I rolled my eyes, ignored her, and walked away. I reached home exasperated. All I wanted to do was eat and write, but to my dismay, there were guests at home. That was the last thing I wanted. And even worse, I saw the face I disliked the most. Aunt Natasha, Grandma's eldest daughter. She was nothing but pain. Welcome home, Julie, she said, with the utmost fake smile. Come, join us, she asked. No, you guys carry on. I have some work. Saying that, I left. But how can I forget who I was dealing with? Kids these days, they have no respect for elders. No greetings, no nothing, she blurted. I took a deep breath and walked towards my room. I freshened up and went downstairs. Come, join us, Julie, one of the women said. I smiled and sat next to her. How beautiful you have become, just like your mom, she said. Thank you, I replied. I could see Aunt Natasha rolling her eyes. God, it's so difficult to raise a child these days, especially these disobedient and difficult children. My mother is naive that she loves this girl and takes care of her like her own child. I wonder why, she said with her disgusted expression. The other woman kept silent because of her uncomfortable remarks. Meanwhile, Grandma had nothing to say, and when she spoke, I was surprised. Let the child alone, she said sweetly. Take this, honey. Go get yourself something to eat. Enjoy with your friends, she said. I was shocked when she offered me 200 bucks. I took the money with great excitement. However, I was worried at the same time because the day before yesterday she had mentioned we have no money left for the expenses, and all of a sudden she gave me 200. Brushing away the thoughts, I went straight to the bookshop to get my favorite book, Norwegian Wood by Haruki Murakami. But when I reached, someone else was there to buy the same book. The girl bought the book and turned around. And to my surprise, it was Ruru. Our eyes met, but since I had ignored her earlier today, she ignored and walked past me. Whatever, I murmured, and asked the shopkeeper for the book, but he said the last piece was sold out. I couldn't believe my luck today. What a worst day. Nothing has been going well, I thought. I returned home disappointed. The next day, however, was a bit different. At school, our class teacher announced an educational trip to the city for 3 days. I was super excited to hear that. My heart beat faster. I have a chance to see the city. Oh my god. Although I couldn't shift to the city, I could at least get a chance to feel the atmosphere. I was on cloud 9. And luckily, we had to pay only 200 bucks for the trip. And I didn't have to ask grandma for money. I giggled out of excitement. All right, children, attention. Here I have a letter of consent for the trip. Each one of you will get the copy. Please get a signature from your guardian and submit it by tomorrow, all right? Everyone agreed in excitement. Grandma, please sign this consent letter, I said. What is this, Julie? Grandma squinted her eyes looking at the paper. I gave her the glasses. Yeah, please sign here, I told her in excitement. Can you tell me what it is? Grandma, this is the letter to my dream, I said. What? This is an agreement letter you have to sign to allow me to go for an educational trip for 3 days. What? She exclaimed in surprise. Yes, Grandma, you heard that right. Your Julie will travel to the city. What about the cost? It must cost a humongous amount, she said worriedly. No, not at all. Only 200 bucks, I replied. See, I don't have 200 bucks, she said. Don't you worry, Grandma. I have money. You just sign the paper, I said, squeezing her cheeks. Okay, she reluctantly signed it. I was on cloud 9. Each day felt like a month, and the trip was finally happening tomorrow. I got all my essentials and packed the bag before dinner. I hurriedly went downstairs to eat, but it was weird. Grandma was not there. Grandma, I called. Then I went to her room. and saw that she was lying on the floor unconscious. Chills ran down my spine. Grandma! I screamed. She didn't open her eyes. I checked her nose and she was breathing. Thank God. I ran to my neighbors. Aunt Tina, something's wrong with Grandma, I told her. She and other adults rushed to our house. We took Grandma to the hospital. My body felt numb. My hands were shaking. What if something happens to her? The fear caused an uneasy sensation. Tears rolled down my cheeks. I sat on the wooden bench outside the room, crossing my fingers. All I did was pray to God for my grandma. Aunt Tina stayed by my side during the whole turmoil. The next morning, Grandma finally woke up. I sighed the longest air of relief. With the doctor's permission, I went inside to see Grandma. She smiled, looking at me. Then her expression changed to worry. Darling, what are you doing here? Isn't it your trip today? She asked worriedly. Grandma, why are you worrying about that? Stop stressing about unnecessary things. It's your health that matters. How can I leave you and enjoy my trip? Doctor said you suffered a vasovagal syncope, which is caused due to anxiety. So stop stressing and relax, alright? Oh, I am so sorry, Julie, she said, kissing my hand. Grandma, please stop. Finally, she got discharged and we went home. Aunt Tina had prepared some healthy soups and porridge for Grandma, which she sent via Rudu. I was surprised to see her there. It was an awkward moment. Hey, I managed to say. How's Grandma? She asked. Doing good, just a little tired, I replied. That's a relief. Please give this to her, she said, extending the food. Thanks, I said. Did you go to the trip? I asked. No, I'm not interested. Since I came from the city itself, it's not fun, she replied. Okay, that makes sense. Please do let me know if you need anything, alright? She said before leaving. I nodded. Just like that, summer vacation approached. Unlike other kids who would be super excited for the vacation, I hated it because it was not a fun time for me but a huge challenge as Aunt Natasha would come to stay for weeks. Her and Grandma would sit and gossip or argue the whole day. She felt like a bad influence on Grandma. Whenever she was around, Grandma would be grumpy most of the time. There was nothing to learn from her besides her irrelevant lectures on women's boundaries and ethics. How women should learn household chores and look after everyone, blah blah. But I never agreed to her opinions. Even though I was young, I believed that as a woman I could do much better in life than limiting myself to useless morals and boundaries. Deep in concentration, I was crafting the intricate plot twists of my long in the work story at home when a sudden sensation of dampness startled me. My gaze fell upon my notebook, now soaked with water. Disoriented, I looked up to find Aunt Natasha standing over me, a watering can in her hand. Hey, what's wrong with you, Aunt Natasha? Why did you do that? I yelled angrily. You brat! Aren't you ashamed? The old lady is working day and night, and you're here wasting time on this stupid thing, she said, grinding her teeth. She got me mad. This is not stupid thing, and I've got the dinner ready. I wasn't sitting idle, so stop your nonsense, I yelled back. She looked furious. She approached and squeezed my cheeks. Know your limits, you brat. You are here living at my mom's expense. And you arrogant little thing, don't you even realize your responsibility to pay her back? I jerked her hand away. How dare you? Her face was a mask of rage. Just then, Grandma entered. What's with you two? Joey, are you troubling your aunt? Be a nice girl, alright? It was unbelievable. I said nothing. I turned and left the room. Seeking solace in my usual refuge, I headed towards the nearby cliff. The tranquility of the place was immediate, the cool air and the rhythmic chirping of crickets soothing my troubled mind. As I lay back, gazing at the vast expanse of stars, a familiar question lingered. Would my life ever truly change? Lost in my reflections, a sudden sound shattered the peaceful silence. The muffled sobs of someone in distress drew my attention. Curiosity piqued. I cautiously approached the source of the sound. Just beyond a cluster of bushes, I found a figure kneeling, their shoulders shaking with grief. Are you okay? I inquired gently. Startled by my voice, the girl looked up. her face a mask of fear and distress. And to my surprise, it was Ruru. Are you okay? I asked gently. Without a word, she turned around and fled towards the village, leaving me utterly bewildered. I watched her go, a wave of confusion washing over me. What a strange girl, I thought. Back at home, I went straight to my room. Since I had lost my appetite, I didn't want to eat. But somewhere deep down, I expected Grandma to come and console me. But hours passed by, and nothing happened. Eventually, exhaustion overtook me, and I drifted to sleep. The next morning, as I awoke, Grandma entered the room. Julie, since you have entire free day today, I was hoping you could help your neighbor Aunt Tina decorate her house for her son's birthday. No, Grandma, I replied softly. I have plans to study for my upcoming exams. What's wrong, Julie? She inquired gently. It would only take a few hours. You're not going to study all day, are you? Please, go help your neighbor. I've already promised to send you. Grandma, are you serious? Why didn't you ask me first? And why would I choose some silly birthday party over my studies? I'm not going anywhere. Oh dear. So Grandma needs your permission now, Aunt Natasha interjected, her voice sharp. She raised you with love and countless sacrifices, and this is the gratitude you show. Grandma, come on. How can she say such a thing over something so trivial? All right, I'm going. I'll go lend her a hand. I agreed hesitantly, though the thought of missing precious study time still rankled. I walked towards my neighbor's house, a knot of disappointment still lingering within me. As I entered, my eyes fell upon Ruru, laughing and playing with the birthday boy. To my surprise, she seemed perfectly fine. I joined Aunt Tina lending a hand in blowing up the colorful balloons. Once inflated, I carefully hung them around the room, creating a festive atmosphere. As I reached for the letters to decorate the board, a tap on my shoulder startled me. It was Ruru. Hi, Julie, she greeted me, her voice slightly hesitant. Hi, I replied, blinking rapidly, still a bit of unsure of how to approach her. I'm sorry about yesterday, she confessed, her cheeks tinged with a faint blush. I wasn't myself. That's all right, I assured her. Are you feeling better now? Yes, thanks for asking, she replied, a genuine smile gracing her lips. Want some help? She offered. Sure, that would be great, I said. Would you mind passing me the letters while I'll climb up the chair and paste them? She nodded eagerly, and soon we were working side by side, the awkwardness of the previous day fading away. As we worked, we struck up a conversation, and I discovered that she too loved reading. But that didn't surprise me, as I had already guessed that when I saw her grabbing Wuthering Heights just before me. When I confessed my dream of becoming an author, her eyes widened in admiration. What? You want to be an author? She exclaimed. She then led me to her room, and my jaw dropped at the sight that greeted me. Bookshelves lined the wall, overflowing with classic novels and some of my favorite books. Oh my god, Ruru, you're a book hoarder! Exclaimed jokingly. Would you mind sharing this treasure with me? Of course, she replied, her eyes sparkling with excitement. You can take any of these. It would make me so happy. What? Are you serious? I asked, disbelief coloring my voice. Yes, absolutely. I'm not kidding. Please take whatever you like, she insisted. I stared at her, speechless. Okay, I'll take them after the party is over, I said, still trying to process her incredible offer. Turns out her family had recently moved to our city after experiencing a significant setback. Ruru confided that her parents had owned a thriving pickle business in the city, but her father's declining health had forced them to close down. The weight of her family's misfortune was clearly weighing heavily on her, compounded by the loneliness of being new to the village and lacking friends. That's why I cried last night, she explained, her voice tinged with sadness. Hearing her story, a wave of empathy washed over me. Hey, don't worry, I replied, offering a reassuring smile. Everything will be all right. Thanks, she said, a glimmer of hope returning to her eyes. From that moment on, an instant connection formed between us. We became inseparable, spending every free moment together. This was the first time I had truly connected with someone on such a deep level, and the feeling of genuine friendship filled me with unexpected joy. Having lived her entire life in the city, Ruru had fascinating stories to share, offering me a glimpse into a world I only imagined. At home, Aunt Natasha would often scowl whenever she saw us together, but I chose to ignore her negativity and continue to cherish my newfound friendship. One day, I took Ruru to our family's pickle shop. As I expertly navigated the tasks, demonstrating my knowledge of the trade, she watched in amazement. Wow, you know so much about this, she exclaimed. I'm surprised you can even run the shop by yourself at this age. Grandma taught me everything, I replied with a grin. And besides, I'm 16 now. I can definitely handle it. Ruru stood there speechless for a moment, her eyes wide with astonishment. Then, breaking the silence, she pleaded, Julie, can you teach me everything about pickles? Please, I want to learn everything. If I can learn to make pickles, I can help my parents. They're already going through so much, and I want to do something to make things better for them. Please, 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 she begged, her eyes beaming with desperation. Seeing her sincerity and unwavering determination, I couldn't refuse. We One evening, as I worked at the shop, Ruru arrived, a wide grin splitting her face and a large bag clutched in her hand. Look what I brought, she exclaimed. What? I asked, my curiosity piqued. She pulled out a series of stunning photo albums, one by one. Cool, I breathed. Come on, let me give you a tour to my life, she declared, her eyes sparkling. She began flipping through the pages, narrating the stories behind each photograph. Breathtaking landscapes, bustling cityscapes, impressive buildings, and vibrant faces. It was a captivating journey, a glimpse into a world I had only imagined. As I gazed at the images, a sense of longing washed over me. I felt as though I had missed out on so much, my own life in the village seeming dull and unexciting in comparison. I had merely survived, it seemed, not truly lived and explored, but who could I blame for my circumstances, I thought, a wave of melancholy sweeping over me. Ru- Ruru continued, pointing out her friends, showcasing her school, and even sharing pictures of her parents with other adults. Suddenly, a familiar face leaped out at me from one of the photographs. A man sitting beside Ruru's father was beaming at the camera. I squinted my eyes, trying to focus. Then the realization hit me with the force of thunderbolt. It was Uncle James. Ruru, do you know this man? I asked, my voice trembling slightly. Yes, she replied casually. He's Uncle James, Dad's friend. Why, do you know him? Yes, I confessed, my voice barely a whisper. He is my uncle. Ah, that makes sense, she said, seemingly unconcerned. He's Dad's childhood friend. Do you have his contact number? I asked, my heart pounding. Dad might have it. Do you want me to get it for you? She offered. Can you? My voice dropping to a hushed whisper. But don't let anyone know. I asked for it. I don't want Grandma to find out. Rest assured, she said, patting my shoulder. My mind raced, a whirlwind of emotions swirling within me. Should I reach out to him? What if he was angry with me? What if he didn't even recognize me? What if he told Grandma? Anxiety gnawed at me, leaving me restless and uncertain. Back at home, I lost in thought, replaying the encounter in my mind. Julie? Grandma's voice startled me. Pass me the butter! I snapped back to reality, startled by her sudden intrusion. What, Grandma? I replied, my mind still reeling from the unexpected discovery. Pass me the butter, Grandma instructed, her voice laced with a hint of concern. What's wrong with you, Julie? Ever since you've become friends with that new girl, you've been acting strangely. Take my advice, stay away from her. She's a trouble. No, Grandma, I protested. She's a really nice girl. All right, eat your meal, she said, her tone softening slightly. It's getting cold. Also, she continued, Aunt Natasha will be here for the next 3 months. She'll arrive tomorrow. What? I exclaimed, surprised. But why? She just left yesterday. Julie, Grandma scolded, her voice sharp.
What's wrong with you? She's your aunt. She cares deeply for you. And yet you're shocked to have a rival? How can you be so heartless?
No, no, that's not what I meant, Grandma. I quickly clarified. It's just that sometimes I feel like you love her more.
How can you even think that?
Grandma replied, her voice hurt.
I love all my children equally.
No, you don't, I teased. You love your daughter the most. I saw it last time. It was obvious. Grandma chuckled, attempting to playfully swat me with her napkin. I dodged her playful attack, a smile spreading across my face. The next day at school, Ruru handed me Uncle James's phone number, a small slip of paper clutched in her hand. Thanks, I said, throwing my arms around her in a grateful hug.
Come on, it's nothing compared to the help you've given me. I owe you big time.
Shut up, I teased, managing a weak smile.
You should call him after school, she suggested.
I, I don't know, I stammered, anxiety creeping in. What if he doesn't recognize me?
No ifs and buts. Just do it, she urged, her eyes sparkling with encouragement. I can borrow Dad's cell phone if you want, she offered, pulling out a sleek device from her pocket.
Oh, that's amazing! Thanks, 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 I exclaimed, hugging her tightly again.
Oh, relax, she laughed,
Patting me on the back. After school, I rushed straight to my room, my heart pounding like a drum. I clutched the phone number, my mind racing with 1,000 different scenarios. What should I say? How should I start the conversation? My body trembled with a mixture of excitement and fear. Suddenly, the door burst open, and Ruru rushed in, her face flushed. She held out her father's phone. Here, she said, her eyes filled with anticipation. I took the phone, my fingers trembling as I dialed the number. Each ring echoed in my ear, my breath catching in my throat. Hello? A voice answered, a deep and familiar voice that sent shivers down my spine. We hurried to the door, and my jaw dropped in astonishment when I saw Uncle James standing on the doorstep. James? Aunt Lily exclaimed, her voice laced with surprise. What are you doing here? Where's Mom? He inquired, his gaze sweeping across the room before settling on me. Julie? He said softly, a hint of warmth in his voice. I hesitated for a moment, unsure of how to react. He approached me, pulling me into a warm embrace and ruffling my hair affectionately. Are you all right? He asked. Yes, I am, I replied, a blush creeping up my cheek. Grandma is in the shop, I informed him. Shall I call her? No, I'll go see her myself, he said, a determined glint in his face. You guys carry on. Aunt Natasha, however, had other plans. I'm not going to let you see Mom alone, she declared, following Uncle James down the path. Meanwhile, I waited impatiently for the elders to return. My curiosity piqued. But I couldn't bear the suspense any longer, so I rushed to the shop, my heart pounding with anticipation. As expected, the atmosphere was thick with tension. However, upon seeing me, Uncle James's face broke with a wide smile, chasing away the gloom. I don't care if you like it or not, he declared, his voice firm yet playful. I'm going to spend time with my darling niece here. Really? I exclaimed, my eyes widening in disbelief. You're going to live here with us? Yes, he confirmed, his smile broadening. Since you can't come to the city, I'll now stay here for a few days and will come to visit you very often from now on. That's fantastic, Uncle James, I exclaimed, jumping with excitement. The news filled my heart with an overwhelming joy. The excitement of Uncle James's arrival overshadowed my lingering negativity from Grandma and Aunt Natasha. I could sense their disapproval, but it no longer mattered. I knew with a certainty that surprised even myself that things would eventually fall into place. With Aunt Natasha's constant presence looming over me, Uncle James's arrival felt like a breath of fresh air. He was true to his words, spending every available moment with me. He became a true friend, a mentor, and a source of unwavering support. He would drop me off at school, bring me captivating books, and even surprise me with delicious homemade meals. But what truly touched me was his genuine interest in my writing. That's incredible, Julie, he said, his eyes twinkling as he read a short story I had written. The way you write is truly remarkable for your age. Never give up on your writing. I have no doubt you'll achieve great things. Tears welled up in my eyes. Until that moment, I had craved external validation, a belief in my abilities that I thought I would never find. His words, so simple yet profound, ignited a fire within me. Thank you, Uncle James, I whispered, my voice choked with emotion. I've always dreamt of becoming a writer, but I never truly believed it was possible for someone like me. Your encouragement has changed everything. Now, I'm determined to turn my dreams into reality. That's great, Julie, Uncle James said, ruffling my hair affectionately. Always believe in yourself. And let me know if you ever need anything, alright? I nodded, a wide smile spreading across my face. Since Uncle James was friends with Ruru's dad, the four of us spent many wonderful afternoons together, our laughter echoing through the house. Meanwhile, Grandma and Aunt Natasha seemed to grow increasingly distant, their disapproval of Uncle James's presence palpable. One day after school, I hurried to the shop to grab Uncle James's favorite mango pickle. Grandma, I'm taking the mango pickle, okay? I said, eager to share with Uncle James.
Take, take whatever you like.
She replied, her voice laced with chilling indifference.
Why are you even asking? You have changed. The evil man has managed to turn you against us. You hate us, don't you?
No, Grandma. Why would you think that? I protested, hurt by her accusation. I don't hate you. Uncle James is a kind and wonderful person. He has never spoken ill of you.
All right, she scoffed, dismissing my words. You'll understand yourself once you see his true colors.
God, I exclaimed under my breath, exasperated by her stubbornness. How can she be so cold about her own son? I, I left the shop, her words still lingering. Back at home, Uncle James and Ruru were waiting for me, their faces beaming with excitement. Ruru stood up, a mischievous glint in her eyes, her hands clasped behind her back. Guess what I've got for you? She teased. What? I asked. My curiosity piqued. I looked at Uncle James for a clue, but he only shrugged his shoulders playfully. His lips curved into a knowing smile. Close your eyes, Ruru instructed. I closed my eyes, trying to suppress my growing excitement. Ruru gently pulled my hand and placed a small envelope in my palm. Now, open your eyes, she whispered. I opened my eyes and stared at the envelope, my heart pounding. I carefully tore open the tip and pulled out a thick sheets of paper. As I unfolded them, my jaw dropped in astonishment. I jumped up and down, giggling uncontrollably. It was a pass to the biggest book fair taking place in the city for 5 days. You know what? There will also be a seminar where famous writers would come, Ruru announced, her eyes sparkling with excitement. Is it for real? I exclaimed, disbelief and excitement battling with me. Ruru replied, a mischievous glint in her eyes. We both jumped up and down, whooping with joy. Did you get the tickets, Ruru? I asked, breathless.
Yes, I did, she grinned. But the credit goes to Uncle James. He's arranged the whole trip.
Whole trip? I echoed, my jaw dropping.
Yes, she confirmed. We'll visit the city for 5 days. We'll attend the seminar for a day or two and then explore the other exciting places. What do you say?
Oh my god, for real? Is it even possible? I gasped, pinching myself to make sure I wasn't dreaming.
Yes, honey, Ruru assured me, her smile widening.
What about school? I asked, a slight tinge of worry creeping in. I'll talk to your teacher, Uncle James interjected, his voice calm and reassuring. But make sure you guys work extra hard to catch up once you return. We nodded. Does that mean we'll leave tomorrow evening? I squealed, barely able to contain my excitement. Yes, Uncle James confirmed, his eyes twinkling with amusement. Get your things ready, alright? Yes, I will, I exclaimed, throwing my arms around him in a tight hug. Thank you, Uncle James. You're most welcome, dear, he chuckled, returning the hug. We screamed with delight, our laughter echoing through the house. We were so caught up in the excitement that we completely failed to notice Aunt Natasha glaring at us from corner of the room. Looking at her, a shiver ran down my spine. I couldn't shake off the uneasy feeling that lingered in the air. The next morning, I woke up earlier than usual, brimming with excitement. I headed straight to the shop and quickly cleaned it, eager to make things easier for Grandma while I was away. Then I returned home and prepared a delicious lunch for everyone. Aunt Natasha, I said brightly, you better help Grandma when I'm gone, all right? She rolled her eyes, a sarcastic remark playing on her lips.
Yes, go enjoy yourself, selfish girl, she muttered.
What? How am I selfish? I exclaimed, my voice rising. Don't I have right to enjoy myself? I can't shift to the city and Natasha, but at least I can visit them once, can't I?
Of course you can, she replied. But why do you have to go when your grandma isn't well? Couldn't you wait until she was feeling better?
What do you mean? Grandma's not well? She was doing fine yesterday.
No, she wasn't, and Natasha replied, her voice sharp. The old woman has been working day and night, and she hurt her back. And you were so lost in your selfish motives that you didn't even pay attention to her, she added, her voice stinging.
Grandma's hurt? She's home? I gasped, my heart sinking.
Yes,
And Natasha snapped, confirming my worst fears. I raced towards Grandma's room, my mind reeling. Grandma, what's wrong? You not well? I asked, my voice filled with worry. Grandma's face was pale, her brow furrowed in pain.
I'm all right, dear, she said, her voice weak. It's just that I'm not able to move properly. I seem to have hurt my back.
When did you hurt your back? I cried. And why didn't you tell me? Guilt, guilt washed over me in a tidal wave. How could I have been so oblivious? How could I have planned a fun trip while my grandma was suffering?
What are you thinking, honey?
Grandma said, her voice surprisingly calm.
Just go. Have a great trip. And Natasha is here to take care of me.
No, not at all, I insisted, my voice firm. I'm not going anywhere. I wouldn't be able to enjoy myself knowing that you're in pain. Just then, I heard Ruru calling my name. I stepped out of the room, my heart heavy. Hey, I said, my voice subdued. It didn't take Ruru a second to notice that something was wrong. Hey, are you okay? She asked, her eyes filled with concern. I'm sorry, Ruru, I said, my voice thick with emotion. We'll have to cancel the trip. Uncle James, standing in the doorway of Grandma's room, looked concerned. And why is that so, Julie? Is everything all right? He asked, his voice laced with worry. Grandma's not well, Uncle James. She hurt her back and can't move properly. Annoyance flickered across his face. What? How come she suddenly become unwell when you're about to leave? Couldn't she pretend to be ill some other day? Why now? He blurted out, his voice sharp. What are you saying, Uncle James? She's in pain.
That's his real face, dear Julie, and Natasha interjected, her voice dripping with sarcasm. Cold and mean.
Ignoring her, Uncle James entered Grandma's room. We followed him anxiously. What is this drama, Mom? He demanded. She's not going forever. I'm taking her just for a few days. At least spare her this moment of joy. Let her experience the world. What nonsense are you talking about? Grandma retorted, her voice weak. I have no problem. Take her. I'm not stopping anyone. Just leave everyone. Leave? Uncle James exploded, his anger evident. Now, do you think she'll be able to leave seeing you in this so called hurt state?
Oh, come on, you brat, Aunt Natasha sneered. Why don't you leave? Can't you see how miserable she is?
Uncle James remained silent for a moment, his jaw clenched. Then his anger erupted. Stop manipulating her, he roared. Let me tell you, I know what you're up to. If you truly loved this kid, you'd have let her go. You would have worried about her well being and her future. You're nothing but a selfish woman, so stop acting. Grandma, visibly shaken, closed her eyes and ignored his outburst. All right then, let's see how badly you're hurt, Uncle James said coldly. He reached for Grandma, his movements brisk and forceful. He grasped her arms and with a sudden jolt tried to pull her upright. Grandma's face contorted in pain. She gasped, her face turning a sickly shade of green. Mom! And Natasha cried, rushing towards her. I couldn't believe my eyes. Witnessing Uncle James's violent outburst made me recoil in disgust, and I spat on him in disbelief. How dare you! Are you out of your mind, Uncle James? I rushed to Grandma's side, assisting Aunt Natasha in gently lying her down. Tears streamed down Grandma's face, but she couldn't even cry in pain. The sight of her suffering was heartbreaking. The tension in the room was so palpable, Ruru quietly left. You're naive, Julie, Uncle James sneered. You have no idea how trapped you are. Stop it, James! Aunt Natasha interjected, her voice trembling with anger. Have you no shame? You talk about selfishness. Where were you when Mom needed you the most? Your career, your ambitions, they consumed you. You never cared about any of us. I had reached my limit. Thank you for your concern about my future, Uncle James. It means a lot that you've come such a length to take me away. But I'm not going anywhere. I'm sorry. I won't abandon my grandma. She's my world. Her happiness is my happiness. Please leave, I declared. I understand your feeling, dear. He sighed, a hint of resignation in his voice. I won't force you. But if you ever change your mind, I'll be here. You're free to make your own choices. Just remember, don't let vague obligations dictate your life. I know you love your grandma deeply, but a fulfilling future is important too. Only by pursuing your dreams you can truly find happiness and be able to share it with others. Don't let your kindness consume you. With that, he turned and left. The events unfolded so quickly, it left me stunned and speechless. Grandma, please try to relax, okay? I soothed, kissing her hand. You'll be all right. We are here for you. Thank you, sweetie, she whispered weakly. I called the local doctor who'd prescribed some medication and advised Grandma to rest. Later, I sought solace on the cliff with Ruru. This place always held a calming magic for me, a sense of peace that washed over me. I shared my anxieties with Ruru. What do you think, Ruru? I asked. Did I make the right decision by sending Uncle James away? Julie, I know this is difficult for you, Ruru began, but there is something about this situation that feels off. Have you noticed how cautious Grandma has been about letting you go to the city? Every time you've tried to visit, something always seems to happen to her. And Uncle James, he's a good man. He would never hurt anyone. He clearly cares deeply about you. He went out of his way to help you, even though he's a busy man. He even faced his own mother who abandoned him for your sake. What do you mean? I asked, confused. If Grandma truly loves you, she'd be thrilled to see you chase your dreams, Ruru declared. But she's more concerned about herself. It's time to prioritize your own happiness, Julie. You constantly sacrifice your aspiration for her, yet she always makes you feel inadequate. I even heard she's keeping you around for your parents' money. My blood boiled. How dare you say that? I demanded, my voice trembling with anger. Just because I confide to you doesn't mean you have the right to make such a vile accusation about my family. What do you know about us? I sought your advice, not your judgmental opinions. Are you insane? You're disgusting. Julie, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to hurt you, she stammered, her voice cracking. I see things you don't. I care about you. You're incredibly talented, but your kindness is holding you back. That's all. Stop it! If you were a true friend, you'd never say such things, I retorted, storming off. Ruru's words left me feeling utterly devastated. Why did everyone have to speak ill of Grandma? She's always been there for me, a constant in my life. How could they judge her without even knowing her? All I wanted was to go and comfort her. I returned home and headed straight to Grandma's room. As I approached, I overheard Aunt Natasha's voice. I couldn't resist eavesdropping. Why don't you let that brat go with James? Aunt Natasha demanded. What's the point of keeping her here? It's a huge expense you can barely afford. Shut up, you fool, Grandma snapped. She's not an expense. She's an investment. What do you mean? Aunt Natasha pressed. She's a golden goose waiting to be plucked. Grandma declared. What are you talking about? And Natasha exclaimed impatiently.
You wouldn't understand. You're too naive, Grandma scoffed. There is a substantial inheritance waiting for her when she turns 18. Her parents left her a fortune, and whoever raised her will receive 30% of it. Millions. I can't let her go now when I'm so close to reaping the rewards. I've endured that trash nonsense for years. I won't let my efforts go to waste.
Wait, are you saying? And Natasha trailed off, a mischievous glint in her voice.
What do you think?
Grandma chuckled. Oh my god! And Natasha exclaimed, bursting into laughter. You cunning old woman! So you are keeping this from me. You don't plan to give me my fair share, do you? She demanded.
No, you're too loud to keep a secret like this, Grandma chuckled. Of course, I'll give you your share. You're my girl after all.
They both let out a wicked laugh.
So that means I have to treat her well too,
And Natasha declared.
You better.
I stood there utterly speechless, unable to comprehend what I just overheard. My entire world crumbled. Tears streamed down my face. I felt betrayed, deceived. How could the person I loved most do this to me? Was this even real? Overwhelmed with disbelief and despair, I fled to the cliff. I sobbed uncontrollably, gasping for air. How could she do this to me? The person I cherished above all else had been manipulating me my whole life. What had I done to deserve this? For the first time in my life, I wished my parents hadn't left. I lay on the cool grass, my sobs echoing through the air. Then a gentle hand touched my hair. I looked up to see Ruru. I clung to her, weeping uncontrollably. You didn't leave? I whispered, my voice choked with emotion. No, I couldn't. I felt terrible for hurting my best friend, she confessed, her voice trembling. We sat there for what felt like hours, me pouring my heart out to her. I'm sorry for my outburst, I apologized, looking into her tear filled eyes. No, silly. I'm the one who's sorry for being so insensitive, she replied softly. I sighed, feeling a heavy weight settle on my chest. Now what? She asked, her voice laced with concern. I don't know, I admitted, feeling lost. Didn't you say Uncle James told you to call him whenever you change your mind? She reminded me. Yes, but how can I call him now? I changed my mind within hours. It would be so embarrassing. Julie, you overthink everything, Ruru said gently. Just do it. With that, she pulled out a cell phone from her pocket. What? Where did you get that? It's not your dad's, I exclaimed bewildered. It's mine. Mom gave it to me for my birthday today. Ruru, it's your birthday today, I cried, remembering my complete lack of awareness. Yes, she smiled, despite the tears glistening in her eyes. Oh my god, I'm so sorry. I completely forgot. Today is your special day and I ruined it. Don't be silly. You didn't do anything wrong. Now call Uncle James. That will be your birthday present to me. I stared at her speechless. Just do it, she urged. Finally, I took up a breath and dialed. I felt an immense sense of relief wash over me. Thank you so much, Ruru. I'll never forget this, I said, hugging her tightly. Now let's go. It's getting late, Ruru said. Yes, good night, I replied, waving goodbye. I went to my room feeling a strange sense of calm. The next morning, Aunt Natasha's voice echoed through the house, unusually sweet. Julie, darling, come down. Breakfast is ready. What an act, I muttered to myself. Just then, I heard the familiar sound of a car pulling up in front of the house. I walked downstairs, suitcase in my hand, ready to leave. And Natasha and Grandma stood frozen, their jaws agape. The sight of the shock brought a strange sense of satisfaction. Uncle James approached me, a gentle smile gracing his lips. He took my suitcase from my hand. What's going on? Grandma exclaimed, her voice laced with panic. I'm leaving, I announced, my voice firm.
What? What do you mean you're leaving?
Grandma sputtered. I'm going with Uncle James forever, I repeated, my gaze unwavering. Their faces contorted in a mixture of shock and disbelief.
What? You said you'll never leave your grandma. How could you change your mind?
And Natasha demanded, feeling hurt. Don't worry, guys. I'll send you your share of fortune when I turn 18. But right now, I'm leaving with Uncle James. Both Aunt Lily and Grandma stood frozen, speechless, their carefully constructed facade crumbling. Goodbye, I said, my voice echoing with newfound confidence. I walked out of the house with Uncle James, my head held high. Outside, I embraced Ruru, pressing the cherished pickle recipe book into her hands. This is for you, I whispered. We exchanged promise to stay in touch, and then, with a final wave, I stepped into the car with Uncle James, embarking a new chapter in my life.